Hello, everybody. Welcome back. You guys have no idea how many times I've attempted to record this video. This is Base Defense Theory by Mr. FUBAR. So, right now, to be completely honest, base defense, after you are roughly 180 days to 300 days, is utterly a joke. Before then, there is a little bit of a chance, but not much. But don't worry, I'm going to break it all down and to explain base defense, the theories behind base defense, and how Lewis has been responding to base defense issues and how people's complaints about it. So, first, they added the fortified walls once you hit level 32 with your wall. Before, you had to level up and max out every single building. Now, base defense and having a solid base defense is currently locked. And it's locked behind building structures, which is first your wall, then fortified wall. And if we look at fortified wall and we go in, at level 1, you have 2.5% damage resist versus bunkers. And all the 4 walls of fortified walls stack. So that means right off the get-go, you have 10%. If you go down to level 10 and you get all your fortified walls to level 10, you gain the maximum damage resist versus bombers, which is roughly 30%. And every 10 levels after level 10, you gain 0.5% of base damage resist. And fortified walls goes all the way up to level 200. And when you're at level 200, your total per wall will be 12.5%. So that means your base defense, your base damage resist versus bombers, my apologies there, will be roughly 30%. And your base damage resist will be 50%. Now let's exit out of this and go back. The next part of that is locked that you got to earn up to and build up to, you're going to want to max out your basic city defense because that will help. Then you're going to want to work on your advanced city defense, but also your advanced combat and your modern warfare. And each tree of advanced combat, you get a troop and base damage resist and a troop and base damage increase. And that goes for infantry, tank, artillery, and planes. And littered throughout the modern warfare tree, you will actually be able to unlock buffs that will help your base defense. So let's look through and try finding these. All right, here it is. Infantry garrison damage. That's something that deals with base defense. And that means that will actually go up to 10%. There you go. You get base HP, which is another 10%. Garrison recovery speed. There we go. Base damage resist versus infantry. And this one right here, parapets, it will apply over for each tree. So you'll have one for against infantry, tanks, artillery, and air force. So these are all locked, and you got to work your way through it. And this is going to take a lot of time. Basic recovery, base HP again, base damage resist again against infantry, base and garrison troop damage versus infantry. And again, troop and base damage resist, troop and base damage. And this goes for every single tree here. So my suggestion is you max out one tree of advanced, then you go to that tree in Modern Warfare and you work on advancing that and maxing that. Then you start the next one, and so on and so forth until you get through that. And you want to work on advanced city defense a little bit at a time while you're doing that, and that will help. So that's how you improve your overall survivability. There's also officers that will increase your overall base defense as well. But we're going to talk about those in a separate video, and we'll be getting to that very shortly. So normal troops that people lean towards for base defense would be the Marder howitzer, the Liberty howitzer, the rocket truck, and the ATG, along with fighters. And we're going to break this down. Now, ATG is not so much effective right now, and I'm wondering how it's going to look after the rework on the ATG in June. But right now, the best chance you have with base defense is between the howitzers and the rocket trucks. And because the ATG will just overpen everything, and if you're over 180 days and 300 days, the most people, the current popular meta will be MBTs. They'll be leading the charge with an MBT, and they'll be using rocket trucks or howitzers to blow up your base. So I recommend using a howitzer or a rocket truck. Now, when you're in your base, and we're going to say mine was built, right? And say someone was attacking me. I'm not going to train a troop right now. You would actually pull your troop out of the base while you're being attacked, target an artillery, and then jump back in to reset the targeting of the base and that troop garrisoned. So keep that in mind. And you could do that with every troop, but don't ever pull all troops out of the base at once and do that and try attacking the forces. You're just going to lose all your troops, and then your base is defenseless. Another method you could do, if you specialize in Liberty bombers and you got rallies with artillery, is bomb those rallies, because all artillery units, including rocket trucks, ATG, and howitzers, are weaker to blast, are weak overall, but they're also very acceptable to blast damage. So where all the bombers deal direct blast damage, all the bombers are equally effective, but the Liberty bomber will be the most effective against rallies. Now, if it's an individual, you can use the Marder bomber. Even though it's specialized for tanks, it will do a decent job against howitzers. And the Vanguard bomber, which was discovered by Death Wish, does a shit ton of damage to any form of artillery troop. So if you're looking for a base defense theory and you're targeting artillery, if you're in a field fight, Vanguard bomber, very solid choice. So is Marder. The only difference between them and Liberty is that Liberty does a grid and doesn't track, and the Marder bomber and the Vanguard bomber only attack one unit on the field at a time, but they do track and chase. So that's pretty much that. But now we're going to go in a little bit more in depth, and we're going to actually talk about the differences of these artillery pieces when they are on base defense. So the rocket truck has an initial fire rate before research is done 3 seconds, and then it will switch over to a roughly 7-second reload. To negate that, you pop out, you wait the 3 seconds, you fire off your shot, pull it back in base, pop back out, reacquire a target, fire it again, and you got 3 seconds. ATG, it's meant for mostly super heavies because of its high penetration depth. It won't be super effective against almost any form of MBT if it's like 9.2, because the pen depth will go to probably like 600 to 700, and it will overpen everything and it won't do much damage. Now, because the howitzers and the rocket truck do blast damage, they will do direct damage. And that is probably your best form of defense. And you could do the same thing with the howitzer, like the rocket truck. You could pull it out, acquire a target, wait 4 seconds, fire it off, or pull it back in base and then let it fire from within the base. And that goes to both. Back to the ATG. ATG does not do blast damage. It does direct damage. It does only does like penetration damage. So keep that in mind as well. So another popular choice that was to replace the ATG is helicopters. Liberty, Martyr, Vanguard. Vanguard is probably one of the better choices for base defense in Martyrs, because Vanguard gets firepower buff, and the Martyr helicopter actually gets a penetration buff. So that will help overall against all form of MBTs, and all helicopters do extremely well against SH units or super heavy units. My favorite is the Liberty helicopter, and I'll explain that why in a different video. Okay. Other units that are popular for base defense is actually the MBT. The Vanguard and Liberty MBT have really fast retrain times, so they can pop out of base, run over to an artillery unit, nuke it, and if it takes losses, it will retrain really fast, and that really helps as well. If you're not over 180 days and you don't have modern units unlocked, the next two favorites would be the mediums of both Vanguard and Liberty, because those two do a lot of damage really fast. Once upon a time, the mediums were dubbed King of the Battlefield for a reason. And both the Liberty and the Vanguard medium have really fast retrain times as well. I do not recommend Martyr's medium because the retrain time is just so slow, and it takes too long to actually be effective. So that's going to wrap up this video today on base defense. If you have any questions, please comment, and also please like and subscribe if you thought this video was any help to you. And I hope you guys are all having a great day or evening. Bye.